Hello and welcome to episode 36 of the Avonlea Chronicles and Knitting Podcast. My name is Martha and I'm here to talk about all things knitting and crafting. So, the last time I podcasted, I was showing off my nail polish and my nail color, and my nails were a little wrecked. So, I took my nail polish off and went to do my nails again, and these three fingers were all splitting. So I trimmed my nails and I buffed them a little bit to get rid of the split. But a friend said get nail hardener to help with your nails. Put it on every night for a week, then take it off and start over. So I got the Sally Hansen Hard as Nails hardener, and my nails look terrible right now and I don't have any on, but they look a lot healthier. I had to trim all my nails down this week, but I'm hopeful that my three fingers and their nails will grow back this week so that I can do my nails again. But I highly recommend. I put it on every day, and about halfway through the week I have to start over because it just feels like there's a little bit too much on there. But my nails are really, they're getting healthier and stronger. So if you're having nail troubles, I recommend this because it's hard when you have no nails sometimes to do things. And got my little lippy because I've been filming stuff. This is the e.l.f. Glow Reviver Melting Lip Balm in Cotton Candy Crush. Okay, so I've been doing a lot of knitting and I'm super excited about it. Also, these flowers are from Mother's Day. At church, we always give out carnations to all the women. We had extras, so I took some. And then we have one lone tulip beside my house, actually on the other side of this wall. And it just looked so sad out there by itself. So I decided to clip it and enjoy it. So I'm super excited because I have finished some projects. I tutor two little girls and they both enjoyed the bunting last year in their classroom, and we've been working with money and playing a bit of a store. I have these worksheets where it's they have to make change from $50, $20, but the page has you're buying certain items that cost a certain amount and you have to make change from whatever. So one of the things was a banner, and it was my bunting. So I told them I would each make them one triangle in their choice of colors. So one of them wanted red and one of them wanted one of the triangles from a blue gradient ball of yarn. So I went into my bonus DK from all my crochet projects and I had two blue, so I made her two blue and the other one wanted red. So I literally just finished these and wanted to get them done before podcasting. So I finished that. And the next thing I finished is something I'm so excited about. But let's talk about how much yarn it took up first. So this is the Three Little Pigs and the Big Bad Wolf. I used Bernat Premium. I ended up using one and I don't know, a quarter of pink and one and a bit of the green, or not even one and a bit of the gray. I had gray left over from the bunnies, so it was already wound up in a ball. So I actually don't know, but I needed more gray to do arms, legs, etc. I already had this little ball of black randomly that my mom had given me when I did this snowman and put the details on the snowman. So I've just use this for like the eyes. And then I needed white and red. Red for the mouths and white for the chest and the snout and the teeth of the wolf. So I went to the dollar store because I was like, I don't need that much. Dollarama, the yarn section at my Dollarama is garbage. There's like nothing there. I'm not that I buy yarn from Dollarama, but I knew I just needed a little bit of worsted, but I didn't need a whole big ball like this. So I found this at Dollar Tree. It's Premier Just Yarn worsted. Got the red. And then they didn't have any white. They had like a cream-ish color. Like, imagine you were making tea with milk and you maybe dunked your tea bag in for less than 10 seconds. It was like barely there beige, but I didn't really want that. So I waited, and then I had to go to my parents' house last weekend, and I thought I would raid my mom's yarn stash. And what did she have in this bag right at the top of a basket was, oh my goodness. It's a DK weight, not Sirdar. It's a DK weight. It really doesn't matter because I didn't need a lot. But she had white and there was a really nice gray color. I snagged both of those. I was really into using the gray for the chest and the snout of the wolf instead of white. So that was what I did. And then for the teeth of the wolf, I ended up using, I had the littlest bit left from the snowman of white with a thread of, I think they call it stellina, like the glitter. And I thought that would be perfect for the teeth of the wolf to make these like really bright, but also little glittery teeth. So that was what I did. This is how much I have left. And this is what they're supposed to look like. And let me get them for you. They are sitting on the floor because there's a lot of them. Okay. I am so pleased. I bought a basket from the dollar store to put them in for now. I wish it was a little bigger, but also this is the basket, just a cute little square basket. If it was a rectangle, would have been perfect. Okay, here they all are. And I'm so pleased with how they turned out. Oh my goodness. They turned out so good. So let's go through each of them. This is the pig who makes his house out of bricks. He's got a cute little tail and a green neckerchief. This is the pig who makes his house out of straw. Also has a curly tail, blue neckerchief. It's a nod to my ancestors, my heritage in Ukraine. And this is the pig who makes his house out of sticks. And then we have the big bad wolf. Now, the only thing I wasn't happy about with the wolf is the mouth. I think I put my mouth down a little bit too low and it went kind of funny when I put the jaw on. But I showed a picture to my friend before he had ears and it looked like a naked mole rat. And she was like, I think it looks even better than the one in the picture. So I kept the mouth. But it looks so good. So this is where I decided, oh, I have a bird feeder from the dollar store. It's called Bird Bistro. It's a clear one, got suction cups on it for your window. And I have a big picture window out there, and this one bird keeps coming back. This is where I decided not to get the gray, or not to use the white, but to use the gray. And then this was the white from the snowman with the thread of glitter. But it turned out so good. So, oh, they turned out so good. I'm so pleased. They might have a little trouble standing up. Clearly the wolf does. But I knit them all kind of strategically. When I did the pigs, so you knit the body and the head like together, one piece flat, and then you seam it up. I did all 3 pigs, and the wolf uses the same body and head piece. So I knit all those up. Then I knit all the snouts, the ears, and the tails. And then I just had a making party, and I like stitched up the bodies, stuffed them, and then I put on the ears, the snout, the tail, and then I made all the extra bits. So I made the neckerchiefs, I made the sticks, straw, and the brick, and then I put them on. Or then I like tied the neckerchiefs on. Then I did the faces. So I put the black on, and I put the mouths on, and then I had a limb party, and I made all of the arms and all of the legs, and then I stitched them on. They make flat bottoms, so you make like the way that you make the leg and then stitch it up, it makes for a flat bottom. And I have washers left over from the snowman and the gingerbread man, and my dad gave me like a bunch of washers when I did the gingerbread man for other stuffies like this. So I grabbed just one washer and I wrapped it in pink yarn, and I stuck one washer in the bottom of each foot. I did the same for the wolf, so it will give it like, I should have done a few more, but it gives it a little bit of stability and something flat to stand up with. And then I secured the necktie, like once I tied it once, I then used thread and stitched it up so that you can't remove it. And obviously these are all tied on. They were so much fun to make. So obviously all of this is Bernat Premium. The red is the stuff from the dollar store, and then the extra bits and the neckties are made with the Hayfield Bonus DK that I have from my crochet, just because they're not too, like, yes, it's a slightly different yarn weight, slightly thinner than a worsted, but when you don't need a lot, and I had I had a bunch of colors to choose from, that was what I used. All of them I did on a 4mm needle. That's my favorite size to knit a shawl in on fingering weight. But I like the gauge that it makes for a stuffy with worsted. Like, it's not too loose that stuffing is going to come out, but it's not super tight either. So yeah, the pattern is from Anne Franklin from 2012, actually. It's only £1.25. She's in the UK. It's on Ravelry. And I would say my only like critique about the pattern is the instructions weren't super clear for knitting up or seaming up the limbs. So You stitch up the back with right sides together so that you have an invisible seam, but you don't have to do the same for the legs. It just says sew a running thread up the legs, turn and stuff. So I knew when I read it saying turn and stuff that you're putting right sides together, stitching it up, and then turning it right side out like you do when you're sewing with fabric. So there isn't an invisible seam on the back of the legs. But you know, I think it's okay. I'm so pleased with all of them. They turned out so good. You make these little bits were like kind of finicky, but so worth it. You have to make 5 pieces of straw, and you like cast on, and then you do a bunch of stitches here, and then you cast off, and then you have to sew up the cast on and cast off edge so it makes it more round, and then you have to like stitch them all together. And then I stitched them to his arm, and then you do the same for the sticks, and there's like 3 sizes of sticks here. And then you bundle them all together, and then I just did a little bow with my thread and then stuck them on. But they're just so cute. And then here's the wolf. I do think, so when I was sewing up the legs last night, they're a little bit wonky, but that's all right. The first leg went on like super smooth all the way around, and then I couldn't get this second one to be like so nice and smooth, and I ended up having to like bunch it a little more, which I think gives it more structure up here. So I kind of wish this one had like bunched up a little more when I was sewing it, but I don't know how it got so smooth. It was one of those things, I was trying so hard to get the second one on so smoothly, and then it ended up bunching up, but it's not going to be noticeable. The kids won't mind. And this had a lot of sewing to it. So this one, the head and body are the same as the pig. Then you had to make an inner ear and an outer ear, sew them together, and then attach. You had to make the snout, add a nose, and attach. You had to make the chest and attach, tie, and then attach. And I also sewed this down at the back, and I also tacked it down at the front so that because this piece wasn't like super stitched on, I stitched it right to the chest, so it's not going anywhere. Then you had the arms and the legs, and then you have this beautiful tail. And then you have the mouth. So the mouth with red, you knit like a diamond piece, and then you knit a triangle for the jaw. So then you imagine you've got like this diamond piece and then one triangle. So you're stitching the triangle to one half of the diamond, flipping it out, stuffing it a little bit, and then you've got to sew on the like one half of the diamond that doesn't have anything on the back to the snout at the neck, it's saying. And then you've got this part where you're stitching it just at the neck so that your other half can be up here. And then you do French knots with white to make the teeth. So it was a lot. It's not as like wolf-like as it looks a bit like a mole to me. But it's okay. I think it turned out great. The kids are going to love it. I just filmed a reel for Instagram and like I was holding all of them and my face just said it all. So I took a screenshot, sent it to my friend. I was like, my face says it all. Like, I'm just so pleased with how they turned out. I'm taking them in tomorrow to the class because they're going to start the Three Little Pigs. And like, oh, I can't wait. Cannot wait to show them off. I just have to take some photographs. And like eventually one day they will come back to me. So yes. Now I knit them all in, this is not working out to stand up. I knit them all in acrylic just because they are going to school and going to be handled by kids, but it's okay. Love them. So now let's look at what else I'm working on. I have started making a yarn cozy with this little rainbow yarn. This is what I made my Palm Springs tank out of last year. Very demure, very mindful, by Pine and Pearl. I had lots left over, so I'm using that to make a yarn cozy. I'm just doing it on my Addy Flexi Flips because that's what I have. They're DPNs, but they've got a little cable in between, so they're flexible, and I love knitting with them. So I've started that. That'll be like a quick project, or it should be now that the pigs are done. And then I'm going back to my new design with my Peggy May yarns. So like I've not worked on this because I've been working on pigs. And I have my lakeside shawl, and the pattern will be coming out this week for it. I have just like a little baby shawl started. This is what I'm knitting it out of. This is just like a mindful knitting project if I'm going somewhere and need something to knit with. And then I just went into my basket with my yarn stash looking for my twine for the bunting, and I found this. I got these at our yarn swap, and they're Koigu, and I've had a design for a little shawl, and this is going to be perfect. It's only 50 grams each. 175 yards or 160 meters. So it's like a skein and a half. 100 gram skein and a half. So this will be perfect for the other little design I have. So that's what I've been working on. I am so pleased that the pigs and the wolf are finished. And yeah, I'm gonna go photograph them and get them packed up to go to school tomorrow. And I'll be back here in 2 weeks with hopefully some progress on my other projects, which might go a lot faster now that I'm done all these stuffies. But you know what? I have so much fun making these that it's totally worth it. So I will be back in a few weeks. Just a reminder, my shop is always open. Lots of great things in there. I put in some tote bags for Fiber Festival season, and the Lakeside shawl pattern will be coming out this week. So you can find it on Ravelry, Lovecrafts, and avonleaknits.ca. So I will see you again in a few weeks.